Good day, Market Chameleons, and everyone joining for the first time. Thanks for coming by and checking out the Market Chameleon live webinar series. Before we get started, let's take a look at the shared disclaimer. Please be aware that neither Market Chameleon, Dimitri, or myself are registered investment advisors or a broker-dealer. If you're searching for investment advice, please reach out to a licensed professional. This webinar, as all our webinars and shows, are for informational purposes only concerning Market Chameleon tools and products. With that, one last look at the disclaimer, and let's welcome Dimitri Pargamonic to the stage, who'll be talking about percentile rank for calendar call spreads. How are you doing this morning, Dima?
Hey, Will, good morning. How are you?
Good. Let me add your screen. There you go. And there's the Market Chameleon landing page.
Yep. Good morning. So what we'll do is I'm going to navigate to the calendar call spread screener, and then we'll just discuss how to rank a calendar call spread, similar how we do. The idea is similar to an IV rank, but we're going to apply it to a strategy. So let's go to the screener first. Up top, we hover over screeners, and let's go to this debit calendar call spread. We come to the screener, we have our filters up top, and then below we have our data elements. So when we talk about and if you look, we're going to go across here. Here's NVIDIA, the stock price change, market cap, and here we see this calendar call spread. This is you can see here the Feb 20. This is this 210 strike, the Feb 20 expiration, the March 20 expiration. These are two different expirations with the same strike. And this is a debit long call spread. So we're looking at getting long the outer month with 39 days out, and selling or short the shorter term expiration, which has 19 days. So over here, we have the price of this spread, this theoretical value, and this percent rank. So that's what we're looking at, this percent rank. And this tells us if we looked at similar spreads historically and benchmark them, would the current price of the spread, would it be on a higher or lower end of that historical range? So when we think of IV rank, an IV rank, it benchmarks an implied volatility. We talked about it where, well, we need a constant maturity and a strike to reference, and then we could look at historically those same similar situations and see, are we currently on the lower or higher end of that range? So when we talk about constant maturity, we'll say, well, options have different expirations, so we have to pick a certain days to maturity that we're ranking. So a typical one like the VIX is 30 days. So 30 days is, if we always reference 30-day option, that would be 30-day constant maturity, and then we would compare it to historically 30-day options. Options have different strikes. Some of them are at the money, some are out of the money, above the at the money, some are below the at the money. So we need to also reference the strike price relative where the stock price or underlying is, because options that are out of the money could have different implied volatilities than the at the monies, or the out of the money downside has different implied volatilities than the at the money. So we need to benchmark those and then compare them to similar options. Well, the idea here in a spread, a calendar spread, is similar. So here we have two different DTs, days to expiration. We have one option that has 19 days to expiration, one option that has 39 days to expiration. Well, that would mean that we need to look for options historically that have these two DT constant maturities, right? One 39 days and one 19 days simultaneously. And then we have to reference them. How do they compare to each other? Okay, so if we take the prior day or the prior day, we'd have to do similar to what we do to the VIX. Well, what was, like, let's say we had the VIX a 30-day and a 20-day, right? Well, if we benchmark those every day, then we could compare the two. So this is doing a similar situation, saying, well, here we are observing two options, with one 19 days, one 39 days. So we go into our database and make that same calculation. Say, okay, well, here's the historical implied volatilities of both those options going back in time. So we take a similar, an observation of both, each observation going back. In addition, well, now we have these expirations. What strikes are we referencing? So you could see here in NVIDIA, well, we have the stock price currently at 187.89, but the strike price is 210. So this is an out of the money strike that's above the current stock price, right? So now we're looking not at the money, we're looking in out of the money strike that to the upside, okay, which could be different than an out of the money to the downside or an at the money. So now we have to go back and say, okay, now we have a constant maturity, and what strike are we referencing relative to the underlying? So we go back in history, we find, and we have to do those calculations to come up with a benchmark. So here, there's one more observation here that is important. And one is that we have these two expirations, but you see there's one expiration that has this little indicator in E, which means, well, there's going to be an earnings event that covers the March 20th expiration, because we're expecting earnings to be Feb 25th. But this Feb 20th expiration will expire prior to earnings. So Feb 20th doesn't cover earnings, right? It's going to expire, and then earnings are going to be released after this expiration. But the March 20th, that will cover. So now we have another factor come into play. So we need to find similar situations where, we got these DTEs, the strike, and then we need to find where there's the one option will cover in earnings, the other one won't, because the implied volatilities will be different, right? The IVs for a option that covers earnings is going to be different than one that doesn't cover earnings, because now you got this binary event. So that needs to all be factored into our IV rank. So once we have that, we'll go back in history and say, okay, I'm going to open this up for a second. And this goes back in history and finds similar situations, right? So these are the similar situations where, we had, we could benchmark where there was an option, there was an earnings that covered that one outer month, didn't cover the lower end. These were the observations and the IVs, okay, of the two. And then we could calculate a theoretical value for what if we use those historical implied vols, right, and plugged them into today's option pricing model, what would the value of the option be? Or this spread? What would the value of buying this one, selling the other one? What would the value be? So these are the different values, right? Going back in history, if we plugged in those historical observations into today's model. So now that we have that for a reference price, and now that we have that, we could say, okay, well, what is the average of all of them, right? So if I gave it one theoretical value, what's the average of all of them? That's what this 474 is over here. So now that we have this average, we could see, well, if the current price is 4, we're below that average. So that just tells us if we're below or above the average of all the observations. But we do have a lot of observations here. Some are below, some are above. And of course, the average could get skewed because if you have one observation that pulls the average one way or the other because of an extreme, we don't know exactly, where all those observations fall relative to the current price. And that's where the IV rank can come in, where if we sort them all, these deals by, let's say, highest to lowest, then we could say, okay, how many of the historical observations would fall below the current price and how many above? So if we took this $4, right now it's worth 4 in the market, that's the indicator. So if we applied the historical values into the Black-Scholes, calculated what the spread would be in theory today, how many of those were below $4? How many would fall above would be above $4? That would be this percentile at rank 25%. 25% of these observations were below $4. Like 353, 290, these are below. 439 is above, 515 is above. So what this is saying is 25% were below, 75% were above $4. Okay, so what this quickly tells us, this percentile rank, is from a historical perspective, we found similar situations. Use those implied volatility observations, plug them back in and compared that value versus today's value. Well, then we're on the lower end of that historical range because 75% of the values would have been above $4, meaning that the spread, buying that spread, right, because this is a debit spread, would have cost us more if we used those historical IVs. 25% were below. Okay, so from that historical range, we are, on the lower end of the valuation than the higher end. Another quick reference price here is how far away from the extremes are we? So the lowest observation, could see here, was $2.90. That was over here. Okay, we took a observation on July 28th. If we use those on July 28th, those observations, it would have been $2.90. Right now it's $4, but on the highest, $6.12 over here. So you could see that if we did the extremes, our very lowest observations, very highest, we're not right at the low, it's still far, we're still we're not at 290, we're at $4, but we're not, near the high either. $6.12, we're at 4. So this quickly, if we're looking at debit call spreads and we're trying to look at all these different kinds that combinations, we have different strikes, different DTEs. We even have some that, here's one that both cover earnings in Google, some that maybe only one expiration covers, or sometimes, there's no earnings. Sorry, this was earnings. Sometimes we have expirations that don't cover an earnings event because earnings are far away or they just happened. So if we take those and try to compare them to the current value, this gives us a sense of, are we on a lower or higher end of the range before we go and do further research. And that could be just a quick, critical or important reference point when you're dealing with so many different potential combinations, as you can see here, that you could tab through. Will, I'm going to throw it back to you. I think, that pretty much covers that IV rank.
Yeah, that was a great webinar, D. Way to start off the week with a big snowstorm. Great webinar. Thanks for bringing it to the Chameleon community. We will see you tomorrow, my friend.
Thanks, everyone, for joining. Stay safe. Have a great trading day.
All right. Have a great one, D. Bye-bye. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining another Market Chameleon webinar. We will have one again tomorrow, 9 a.m., same time. The webinar that usually takes place on Monday with Ryan is canceled due to some snow issues. I will let you know when we're rescheduling. If not, it'll probably be next Monday. Everyone have a safe trading day. Be safe out there in the weather. It's really, at least here, very snowy. I think we had almost, 18 inches here in PA. Anyways, have a great day. Thanks for the thumbs up. Enjoy your trading day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.